9.
أنا مستر.
Good morning. Good morning. How are you?
Good, Mr. Good.
How are you like?
أنا مستر.
Yeah.
أنا مستر.
You still asleep? You still sleeping?
نعم مستر.
Wake up late.
مستر والله مش فاهم حاجة، الصوت بقطع
مستر
شوي.
الصوت مش واضح.
أنا بتكلم أهو صوت عالي. سامعني كده؟ Can you hear me well?
ايوه كده.
كده كويس كده كويس.
طيب يلا. We are waiting for your classmates to join us. We will start now. We will start our lesson now. Please open your chemistry book, page 12. Open your chemistry book, page 12.
اوكي ماشي.
عزام.
اهلا يا مستر.
عزام.
يا مستر.
عزام. Do we have
ايوه.
عزام؟ طيب عزام بيج 12 يا عزام. بيبر.
طيب.
بيبر كروماتوجرافي.
فتحتها يا مستر.
كروماتوجرافي. كروماتوجرافي. Okay. The name of this lesson is paper chromatography. We know paper. But what's chromatography? Chromatography, the word chromatography comes from the old name, the old word or the Latin word chroma. Chroma. Chroma means colorful. Chroma means colored. And the element chromium was called chromium because its compounds give different colors. The element chromium, Cr, was named chromium because its compounds have different colors. So it was called chromium. So the word chromatography comes from colorful or colored. Okay. What's a paper chromatography? Paper chromatography is a technique for separation. Is used or a technique for separation. Separation of what? As we studied before, we have different types of mixtures. We have solid in liquid. We have liquid in liquid, gas in a gas, gas in a liquid, and so on. But we have different types of mixtures. Okay? Paper chromatography or chromatography is used to separate colored compounds. Is a technique used to separate colored compounds. يبقى paper chromatography is a technique that is used to separate colored compounds. For example, we have pigments. Pigments are colored compounds. So we use this technique to separate different types of pigments. Okay. This type of separation, this is a separation method, a separating method used to separate colored compounds. Okay. Right. As we said, it is used to separate pigments. We have here two components in paper chromatography. The first component is the filter paper. We have something like a filter paper. So it is called paper chromatography. And the second component is number 2, we have a solvent. As you see in page 13. In page 13, we have here something like a cup or a glass, okay? And we put a filter paper, something like a filter paper inside this glass, okay? I will tell you the technique. So we have here a filter paper and immerse it inside a solvent. Immerse it inside a solvent. We put one spot of the pigment on the filter paper. We put one spot of the pigment on the filter paper, and then we immerse it into the solvent. We immerse it into the solvent, like in the picture in page 13. Okay.
Put one spot of the pigment.
We put one spot. I will tell you the methods. I will tell you the steps after a while. I will tell you the steps after a while, the steps of chromatography. Okay? So we put the pigment, one spot or one drop of the pigment on the filter paper, then we immerse it into the solvent. The pigment has two properties. The pigments have different solubilities in the solvent, or it can be attracted to the filter paper. So we have here the pigment can be attracted to the filter paper, or it can be dissolved in the solvent. So we have two factors here. The first factor, that the pigment can be attracted. What is the amount of attraction between the pigment and the filter paper, or the amount of dissolving of the pigment inside the solvent? Okay, fine. What are the steps of chromatography? We will talk.
صوت المستر قطع.
وانا كمان.
يمكن دلوقتي المستر يشرح احنا ما نسمعش حاجة.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay.
Now we can hear.
So we have here three components. The first component is the pigment or the colored compound, like juice. Juice is a color compound. We want to know whether this compound is pure or not. We want to know the number of compounds in this mixture. So chromatography is used. Before we talk about the steps of chromatography, we say that chromatography is used to, number one, the first use of chromatography is to identify a colored compound. If I have a colored compound and I don't know what is this compound, so we make chromatography for this compound to identify this colored compound. The second use of this compound of chromatography is to separate colored mixtures. If we have colored mixtures, for example, we have juice, cocktail juice, for example, and we want to identify the number of fruits inside this cocktail. For example, I have a cocktail juice. Cocktail consists of orange, strawberry, banana, apple, and so on. how many components, how many compounds, how many fruits inside this